Hey, welcome back to the Summer Remix series. This series is called That Moment When. All right, and it's all about those moments in life when we can choose to bring life or take life, when we can choose to love or hate, when we can choose to speak truth or deceive. I'm actually recording this at summer camp, which has been amazing so far. Right behind me is the prayer room, which is going to be used later by a bunch of teenagers who are going to be praying to encounter God. I'm pretty excited about what's happening here at camp. I may get interrupted. Well, let's see. But anyways, for our summer series, we have been going through the day of an imaginary girl with very real problems. Our girl's name is Summer, and in the last episode, Summer did the amazing thing where she actually chose to not talk bad about her boss when her best friend Autumn was ticked at him. Now, let's see what happens in this next part of Summer's day. Okay, so here she is. She's in the break room, and then Mr. Muffnapple walks into the break room and then says to Summer, hey, look, I know your break time is up, and so you need to hurry up and come back because we have a bunch of customers. And so Summer is like, oh man, I didn't finish my cards. Okay, so she puts away all of her cards, she puts away all of her pens, she stuffs them into her book bag, and then she stuffs it into her locker, and then she rushes out to the front of the building, and then, oh my gosh, there really is. There's like tons of people waiting to purchase their groceries. So she turns her light on and starts taking people, and then the next 2 hours fly by because the grocery store is packed with people buying their groceries. And so then after the 2 hours is up, she goes and punches out, and at the same time here comes Autumn, and she punches out, and Summer grabs her cards and rushes to the front of the building so she can get the cards done before Autumn gets out. And so she's like frantically running. And then Autumn comes out of the store and she's like, hey, our ride's here, we gotta go. And Summer says, well, my mom told me that I'm supposed to finish these cards before I go hang out with you. And Autumn is like, well, our ride is here right now. And so Summer started thinking, yeah, I got Autumn kind of mad at me for saying what I said, the nice thing I said about the boss. I don't really want to make her mad again. And so she says, okay, and she stuffs the stuff back in her bag, and then she gets in the car and then calls her mom, because they have a house rule, right? Like if you're going and leaving somewhere, you need to call and let us know what's going on. And so she calls her mom and says that she's going to hang out with Autumn at Autumn's place, and a bunch of band friends are going to come over. And her mom asks her the question. She says, did you finish the cards? And Autumn is looking right at Summer. And Summer, this is that moment when, right? Summer could speak the truth to her mom, or she could hide the truth from her mom. And this is what she does. She says, oh yeah, I finished the cards. You should see the one I wrote to Aunt Sally. It is so funny. Anyways, I'm going over to Autumn's house, and we're going to hang out with a bunch of band friends, and it's going to be really fun. Okay? And then she hangs up. Autumn then turns around and says, I'm so glad that you're coming, because I have a surprise for you. And Summer's like, what's the surprise? And Autumn says, we're not going to my house, we're actually going to Tommy's house, and Chris, you know, the dude that kind of likes you and you kind of like him, he's gonna be there. Now, here's the problem. Summer's mom knows about Tommy, and Tommy is a no-no. And Summer knows that, but Chris is over at Tommy's house. So she looks at Autumn and says, all right, let's go. So, we're gonna have to come back next week and find out what happens when Summer and Autumn get to Tommy's house, which Summer's not supposed to be there. But this week, let's talk about what is happening in this story. There is a lot going on here, but there are two massive issues we have got to talk about. First, there's the issue of honoring our parents. And second, there's the issue of lying, of deceiving. Let's start with the whole parenting thing. I'll be honest, I think that the relationship between a parent and a child is the most important human relationship after the relationship that two married people have together. Seriously, I think it's also, and you probably have found this to be true, it's also the hardest relationship. Think about it. The most important relationship, most important human relationship behind the married relationship is also the hardest relationship. But I do believe it's a relationship worth fighting for. Let me say that again. Your relationship with your parent or parents is worth fighting for. I'm not saying it's a relationship in which you should be fighting, although that's going to happen. No, it's a relationship worth fighting for. And here's one reason I think this way. If you go back to the Old Testament, you can see where God is actually, he's trying to put together this group of people. And in putting together this group of people, he's hoping to show the world how to live together. He's hoping to show the world how to get along, and he's hoping to show the world how to be a blessing. And so he's putting together this group called the Israelites, which, by the way, Jesus was from this group, right? But anyways, in the Old Testament, God gave those people a bunch of rules on how to live together. And it was an incredibly thick and thorough set of rules. But there's a famous set of rules in there, and you probably know what I'm getting ready to talk about. It's the 10 Commandments. And stay with me, stay with me. Will you stay? Stay with me. Will you? Okay, stop. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 5. I want you to read that with me. I want you to turn there if you've got a Bible, or if you have your phone with you, or if you're watching this on the interwebs, you can go to BibleGateway.com. Anyways, in Deuteronomy 5, we have the 10 Commandments. And in these 10 Commandments, there are 4 that have to do with the human relationship with God, with our walk with the divine, with the Creator, with our Maker and Rescuer. That's the first 4 commandments. And the last 6 commandments have to do with human relationships with humans, with how we get along together. And the last 6 commands are kind of guidelines on how to live with people in your neighborhood or people in your house. And wouldn't you know that the very first command in those 6 commands about human relationships is about the child-parent relationship? Yeah, in those last 6 commands, you've got the rule to not murder. And that makes sense. It's not good to, all right? But it's not the first rule. And then you've got the rule about not stealing, not taking other people's stuff from them. It's a rule that makes sense, but it's not the first rule. Then you've also got the rule of not sleeping with or having sex with someone that you're not married to, right? Because if we just all do that, it just messes up the world. And so that rule makes sense, but it's not the first rule. And then you even actually have the rule against lying or giving a false testimony. And that's true, like if we all lied, who could we believe, and how could we exist as a world if we just all lied to each other? It makes sense to have that rule in there, but it's not the first rule. The first rule is the rule about the relationship between parents and kids. So let's read it. It's Deuteronomy 5, verse 16. Honor your father and your mother, as the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live long, and that it may go well with you in the land the Lord your God is giving you. Now, this command is not an optional command, right? It's not just for kids with perfect parents. It's for kids with imperfect parents, because all parents have sinned. Newsflash, all parents are messed up. Seriously, all parents struggle with the whole parenting thing. I'm a dad, I know. Yours may struggle more than others, right? You may have a harder time with this command to honor your parents, but I believe that if you seek to honor your parents, if you seek to obey them in all things, you will find peace in your heart, and often you'll find peace in your home. And this command actually comes with a promise. It says that you may live long and that it may go well with you. Essentially, it's saying this: if you honor your parents, you'll be blessed. So how do we do that? How do we honor our parents? I'm going to give you 5 quick tips on how to honor your parents. Number 1, ask God for help and pray for them, okay? Seriously, if you don't pray for your parents, do it, all right? And ask God for help in that. Number 2, encourage them. Find things that they do that you appreciate and tell them. Write them a little note and just slip it in their purse, or like put it in their favorite drawer of like whatever, I don't know. Just find a way to make them feel nice, to feel appreciated, to feel valued. You like it, right? Well, so do it for them. How about this? Tell them what's going on. Communicate with them about what's coming up in your schedule or what you want to do. You may even want to set like a little thing on your calendar to say, talk to mom about my next week's schedule. Seriously, like just put it in as a regular weekly thing that you're going to do. Parents like to know what's going on. Number 4, forgive them. They're not God, right? They have, and they're going to do it again. They have messed up. And if you want them to give you a break, how about you give them a break? If you want them to forgive you, to let something go that you've done in the past, why don't you let go of how they have hurt you or hurt other people? Forgive them, okay? And the last way I'm going to suggest honoring them, how about this? Obey them, unless it's illegal or goes against your faith, right? You don't have to agree with them on everything, but you need to agree to obey them in everything, unless it's illegal and goes against your faith. Now, that is rare, by the way, but some people have parents that struggle with knowing the truth and knowing what's good and what's evil, and your parents may be those, and if they're telling you to do something that goes against your faith or that is illegal, you don't have to obey them. And if that is you, talk to an adult or talk to me, and we'll try to help in your situation, okay? Now, let's turn to the other situation where Summer lied to her mom, and that's obviously not honoring her. But it's also lying. When you lie, or when I lie, when we lie, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get somebody else to believe something that's not true. Okay? And think about it. You're actually trying to get them to believe an imaginary story. Now, imagination is fun and cool sometimes, but it's not cool if you're the one that is being lied to, right? And lying, think about it, it is a big deal. There's a reason it hurts that when somebody says to you, you're a liar, right? We want our words to matter. We want people to believe us. But if we let lying be a part of our lives, it'll hurt our relationship with others. And worse, it hurts our relationship with God. Seriously, in the book of Revelation, at the end of the Bible, John gives this really awesome picture of the redeemed city of God. You should check it out. Read Revelation 21 and 22, right? In there, John sees this incredible vision of a new city with beautiful everything, gold, sapphire, all these jewels just glittering. It's a glittering city, and it's the city of God. And what I love, even more than the beautiful city that it is, what I love is how it says the nations will walk by its light, right? The kings of earth will bring their splendor into it. Now, okay, what's the big deal about that, Josh? Well, no. John was seeing the reality that God's city was a city for all people, a city for all nations, not just a special people, not just a particular nation. God's city is open to all. Oh, I love that. But, and there's a big but here, there are some who can't enter. Read verse 27. Okay, let me turn there. Do, 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 do. You might hear some music in the background. There's some folks singing right now, which I think is pretty awesome. Okay, this is chapter 21, Revelation 21, verse 27. It says, "Nothing impure will ever enter it, nor will anyone who does what is shameful or deceitful, but only those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life." Okay, let's deal with the Lamb's book of life. Does that have like a picture of a lamb on the front of it? Like, what does that mean? No, the lamb in the book of Revelation is Jesus, okay? And the names in his book are anybody who has put their trust in him, who has given their life to him, who has said, I want to live like you, Jesus, no matter what happens to me. I want to live the way you live, Jesus. Okay? So think about this. Did Jesus live with deceit in his mouth? Did he practice falsehood? Did he try to mislead people? Did he try to give them imaginary stories to believe? Did he break their trust in order to get what he wanted? No, that's not how Jesus lived, and that's not how he lives today. You cannot follow Jesus. You cannot follow the Lamb and live in deception. You cannot say that Jesus is your Savior, your King, and then also go and speak distruth or deception to your family or to your friends or to strangers even. And look, there's lots of ways to lie, right? And in our story, Summer lied in two ways. First, she deliberately told her mom she finished her cards, right? And then when Autumn changed the plans, Summer didn't tell her mom about the change of plans. In the first case, Summer actually spoke the lie. In the second case, Summer hid the truth. And both telling a lie and hiding the truth is deception. And both are not cool. Look, I get it. Sometimes it feels like telling the truth is going to hurt the relationship. And that's why we lie sometimes. We want to keep somebody happy, so we tell them a lie or we let them believe a lie by not telling them the truth. And sometimes it just feels easier to lie. Right? It's a shortcut to get what we want. But here's the problem. Lying actually hurts the relationships in the long run because it ruins the trust. And while it may work as a shortcut right now, it will lead to a pattern that messes up much of your life. You don't want to be a liar in this life, and you definitely don't want to be a liar in the afterlife. Because in the afterlife, you're not getting to party with Jesus. All right, listen. What about you? Do you struggle with telling the truth? I know it's a battle I face sometimes. So here's 4 quick tips on telling the truth. Number 1, ask God for help. It starts there. Any life change starts with asking God for help. Second, commit to always telling the truth. Make it a priority in your life to always speak the truth, no matter what. Now, number 3, if you've already hid the truth, go reveal it. If you have already hid the truth, go reveal it. If there is someone in your family that thinks one thing that's not true because you told them mistruth or you hid something from them, go back to them and say, I'm sorry, I lied. Tell them. Finally, number 4, when you start to lie, interrupt yourself, okay? You may find yourself telling a story and making yourself look better than you really were or minimizing something that happened. It's not too late to interrupt your lie and say to your parents or whoever it is, I'm sorry, I was starting to tell you a lie, but I don't want to do that, so here's what really happened, okay? I love you guys, and I think you're incredible. I want you to find peace, and I want you to find grace that's only available in Jesus Christ. And I want you to be the kind of people who honor your parents no matter what, who speak the truth no matter what. So will you receive his strength Ask him for help, and he will help you honor your parents and always speak the truth.